Hello and welcome to today's camper van chat, which is coming from an office. I'm doing this from here because I thought I would get a better internet connection for the live stream. If you came onto my live stream early, I've got to apologize. It went down twice. Well, it didn't so much go down as something went wrong, and therefore I was unable to sort of continue. But anyway, I'm now doing this one not from my mobile phone, my smartphone, but rather directly from the computer. I don't really like using the computer very much for doing things like this because the problem is with the microphone. Oh no, sorry, it's the same microphone as this one here. But when I use the computer, it gives this tinny type of sound, whereas if I use the phone, I think it's a much clearer sound. Anyway, having said that, so I'm in an office, as you can see, and what I wanted to talk about today is I get people writing to me non-stop. I get at least one and sometimes 3 or 4 mails a day from people asking me about which van they should buy, and so I really want to deal with this in a little bit of detail, because the question is not so much what you should buy, it's what is available. And what I've got to insist that people do is that they rent vehicles first. They don't want to buy a vehicle, they rent it. And I put up a video earlier this week about somebody who rented a van for the weekend. He found that he didn't like it at all. Okay, there was lots of mistakes he made, probably not his fault, but he made those mistakes. And then he learned that this van life thing certainly isn't for him. And his problems were things like not being able to heat a van up, which he paid $1,770 for 3 days use of. So that would be the very first thing. Yesterday I got a question by somebody who couldn't make a decision between Krug, Bimobile, of Stefan's company, Action Mobile, and a couple of others, which were really high-end vehicles, which are costing several €100,000. And as far as I'm concerned, the thing is, I mean, what you have to do is really to find out yourself, because there are things about these vehicles which are different, and you really be able to, it's not a case of asking somebody like me to on YouTube. If you want somebody to go through things like this, then you really need sort of rather detailed help. And I would have thought that if you're going to spend several €100,000 on a vehicle like that, to actually pay several €100 getting advice is quite a good use of your money. Now, that is the first thing. You rent it. You rent it for 3 days. Then you rent it for a week. Then you rent it for 2 weeks. Then you rent it for a month. And then you might think about getting a second-hand vehicle. That's what I really strongly suggest people do, because I know people who've taken out vans. I have people write to me and they say what their experiences were, and their experiences are quite negative often, and it's for reasons like the hero of the story a couple of days ago, Frank, what happened to him and how his dreams were destroyed by reality. Though, of course, many things in reality turn out to be totally different to what you imagine them to be. If one looks at popular songs, most of those songs are about love and how wonderful it is to be with somebody, and then when you get married you find out it's completely different than what they said in the song. And vehicles are van life is to a large extent the same. Next thing I want to speak about is money, because if you're going to spend all this money on a vehicle, and that money is then it's not lost, but it's within the vehicle, but it's frozen, and then you might think, well, the cost of renting. Now, if you're going to spend, say, €100,000 on a vehicle, I use that figure just pulling it off the top of my mind. Now, at the moment, when you've got returns at around 2%, if that, that's quite a good return. Then I think, well, okay, then maybe to rent something for a couple of €1,000 for a couple of weeks, then maybe that would be hard. But you've also got all the other costs which you have to pay for 52 weeks of the year, and you might be using things for say three weeks or 4 weeks. So you should really consider all of that as well. And so thanks for Tony, who writes, get a Mercedes Sprinter runner from Wölke in Helmstein, Germany. Yes, indeed, Wölke was one of the companies that this couple wrote to me. So if you want your money tied up with in things, you've got to insure it and all the rest of it. It could well be that renting works out far cheaper. So that's the next thing, really. Now, what about what vehicle should be actually bought? Good morning, Ellen. So the vehicle which you should buy is the one that is available. Current, say, I was at a conference, a virtual one, 3 or 4 days ago, and when the question comes, how long you have to wait, and then the answer came, a rather nervous answer, well, probably a year. It's not probably a year, it's at least a year. Because of the pandemic, there is huge demand for vehicles. And if you have to wait only a few months, then there's something wrong with the company which is actually producing it. It's like, if you want, what restaurant do you go to? You go to the one when you're in a new town, you go to the one where the queue's the longest because they're the locals and they know the best. If there's one where the queue's there's no queue at all, then you've got to realize there's something not quite right with the restaurant. So that is the way. So as far as the vehicles are concerned, is that it's there's very long waiting times. So think that you're getting a choice of A, B, C, or D. You're not. I mean, okay, it may seem that I put up videos showing what the choice of what the vehicles are like, but it's not so much to use videos such as mine, and other people do the same thing, to sort of make a decision, oh, I like this one the best, but because you might not actually get it. I think the better use actually is you see the videos themselves, of course. I hope people will watch them, but using of the videos to see what is available, if you can find that vehicle, particularly if you can find that vehicle on the used market. Now, I've been doing this for long enough. There are a number of films. I mean, the first films I've got date for 2012. As far as motorhomes are concerned, you've got the 2013 range. Now, these vehicles are 8 years old, and so they will be coming on the market. So things like that you can actually see. And I've been doing this regularly since 2016. So putting the videos. So there's plenty of material there should these vehicles come onto the market. If you having seen videos such as mine, you say what the sort of general layout that you want, then you've got to see what's available in the second-hand market. But if you decide that I want this vehicle, I want a 2017 version on this engine, and I want this chassis, and I want it in this layout, then really you're going to be waiting ages and ages and ages until you get it. So the vehicle that you must get is the vehicle which is available. Now, I haven't decided if you're going to get something which is second-hand. Now, the first time I bought a vehicle, I wasn't too bothered, but I wanted a camper van. I found a Cartago, which was about 230 kilometers or so from where I was at the time. I bought it just outside of Dover in the UK, in Deal, and then a little friend of mine was supposed to come down with me, and she sort of chickened out, giving me some excuse not to drive the thing back by myself. And although at the time, I mean, it seemed really big. I mean, now it seems really tiny. It was 465 or 470 centimeters long, but at the time that seemed like really big to me. But anyway, I was driving with no problems very quickly. So the vehicle that you need to buy is the one which is which is available, and that's it. it's the one which is, it was, otherwise you're just not going to find it, particularly not in the current market. So that gives a bit of an idea. Sorry, I try to do this as a live broadcast, not as live now, for example. So Gokben has just come in. Hello, and I suppose Gokben, I presume, is in Turkey. And so what I presume, what I suggest I'll try and do is, if I could try and do it at the same time on Saturdays, for example, or maybe Sundays, I could do a live broadcast. That might be easier if I can get into the habit of doing it at the same time, because it's quite difficult otherwise, and particularly as I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm a bit concerned about the quality of how this is actually going to turn out, in view of the fact I'm filming with my computer. So thanks for those of you who were here, and so there will be a video this evening at the usual evening time. I might even put on a second video, a tourist video, sometime this afternoon as well. And so I'm going to try and do videos at 2 videos Saturdays and Sundays. And other than that, it's at 21:15 my time, 20:15 in the UK, and well, I don't with all the times and all over the places that I say that what time that is, because in many cases I might be wrong. Thanks very much for being here, and thanks for watching. And there's plenty more on my channel. Anyway, okay, all the best from Ozoku in Poland.